Everybody, welcome to the Remote Accountants and Traders channel. I'm your host, Vince. And before we get started in today's video, guys, just make sure that you read this disclaimer here that the investment tips and investment strategies that I show on here are just for informational purposes only. Investing does come at a risk, so just make sure you do your own research and look into your own investments to make sure that they're going to be good for you. So this channel is for educational purposes only. Let's go now right into SPY today. That's the S&P, of course, 500 EFT Trust Index. And so what's interesting about this week here, by the way, today is January 30th, 2023, is you see that for the pretty much the last month here for January, that we had a nice little rally here going on with the stocks in this trust and the S&P, as well as the NASDAQ and other areas too as well, of those indexes. But we're not going to take a look at those for the purposes of this video, but we will look at to see the nice run that we've had and kind of considering where we're going to be going in the next week here, of course, right? And so we started off here at 382 and now we're at 401 today. And what's interesting is that this week here ahead, we see, of course, this is where we're leading up here. This is the last 5 days, I'm sorry. The week ahead here is going to be talking about whether or not the Fed is going to raise the interest rates again. And those discussions will be happening on Tuesday and Wednesday to see if that happens. And that, of course, will impact the market, whatever that decision may be. So it will be a very curious thing to see if it goes up a good amount. Of course, if the Fed decides not to raise interest rates, or if they decide to raise them and seeing it go down back to previous levels here. You'll see here, if you see the last 6 month date range over here, that the S&P was as far down as 356 here, which is a nice little hit there for the 2022. But it has had a recovery here of a sort. But it isn't at the highest level that we saw back here in August of 2022 in that 6 month time range. If we look at the 1 year time range, we'll see that back in January 31st of 2022, 1 year ago, of course, we were trading at 449. So you do see that it was a bit higher at that time for this SPY index fund. And so I just like to look at this. I like to look at the various stocks too on this channel, but kind of look at where we stand, where we could go in the weeks ahead. In prior videos, guys, if you could see those videos too, you'll see Costco. I did some analysis on that, and Amazon, and some of the bigger stocks. By the way, speaking of individual stocks, we do have earnings this week. For several big companies, we have earnings for Apple, earnings for Amazon, earnings for a chip maker called AMD. And so there are other companies that are out there too that this is their earnings will be reported during this week. And so this week is important for that reason too. So not only do we have the interest rates going on, but we also have the earnings reports too. And so if you guys are ever involved in options contracts, especially if you're selling premium, it's a pretty good time to see if you can get a decent premium on selling puts or selling calls. You do have to be careful, of course, just to make sure that you don't get burned on those puts or calls if it's too far, into the money in one direction, and then it goes against you. So you just have to make sure that you do give yourself what I call kind of wiggle room to make sure you're okay. But in any case, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope this has helped you out, at least looking at just the SPY index fund here. And we'll see where it goes. Maybe we'll post another video here, if not at the end of this week, maybe next week. We'll see what happened as a result of the Fed decision. It also kind of helps people understand too, like what those decisions do and why it's important in investing to kind of, to be aware of it, to be in the know that, when these decisions happen, it does impact the market. And so obviously if the Fed had a decision where they kept interest rates the same, maybe you'd see S&P stay basically the same or go up a little bit. So some decisions are more impactful than others, of course, but it's helpful to understand a kind of correlation. Like when this happens, this will happen too. So in understanding like those days when those happens, because that helps inform you on the days you'll make your investment, right? You don't want to make an investment that's too soon. That's going to be a week of a lot of earnings reports or perhaps interest rate report, things like that can impact your investment, especially if you can't take the risk on that. So sometimes it's good if you're less risk averse to wait till those things pass, invest in that, and then just hold it for the long term if that's your kind of strategy in order to make an investment over 5-10 year period of time. A lot of people trade, a lot lower than that too, of course, looking at the 1 year to less than that time range if they need the money right away. But I'll cap it here, guys. Hope you're doing well. We'll do another follow-up video on SPY and also look at the other stocks too as well. And for accountants who are a part of my group, welcome to the group. Hope you guys are doing well. And if you guys are looking for jobs, remote accountants looking for jobs, go there to that Facebook group. You'll see my link on my YouTube channel. Again, that's the Remote Accountants and Traders channel. And you'll see in this channel there that there's a link to, if you go to, it was in here somewhere. Well, anyway, I'm not going to, you'll find the channel to my group there on Facebook, and you can join that and become a member and see the different job postings and also network too. That'll help you out. And guys, take care, and I will catch you on the next video.